Walk around the compound. We'll see some tigers and then some squeaks and some Pete's a raven. Hi. Hi. How are you? I love trying to surprise her with a visit, oh, visitors, oh, hello, well, let me go get my bowl of candy. She's got that thing. She always says hi to people. I think it's adorable. When she does that. She's got very cute Pete's. I'm not gonna touch your Pete's. She always thinks I'm gonna touch it. I suppose do enough Pete's vines. And then she's like, what are you doing? Don't touch my Pete's. Subdued spots. Subdued. That's like lower than a dude. You're not even a dude, you're a subdude. Jared was a subdude. That didn't work out so good. Oh, now we're sad. A lot of people are sad. Mom, he explained that joke to me. Nah, it's different. You won't get it, sweetie. Just let's look at the cats. What's that mean? Nothing. Never mind. We're gonna go to Blimpie. We're gonna go to Quiznos. Never mind. Sis! Hi, how are you? Oh, Milo's coming over. Chatty kitty cats. Oh, look at these little chatty guys. Hi, beautiful. Sass. Hello, all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic. We've got some thunderstorms on the horizon that way, beautiful blue sky on the horizon that way. Walk around the compound webcast. They're not going to be affecting the facilita, but they do make an interesting contrast, like a heaven and hell kind of contrast to the sky. It's neat, it's interesting, I like it. Hello, Mr. Man. How are you? You want to say hi? Would you like to say hi? Yes, no, maybe so? Jake. From State Farm. Trying to get a Lucia locked up yesterday. Poor intern Manisha was trying to get a Lucia Lou locked up yesterday. Couldn't do it. I went over to help Miss Manisha get a Lucia Lou, which is over there. She's over there. Try to get her locked up. Couldn't get her to lock up. Wouldn't listen to reason. All the boys, which there is Peaser right there. There is handsome Mr. Peaser right there. Yeah. He locked up. Stoic Jake locked up. The rambunctious Luca locked up. But crazy, living by her own rules, Lucia would not. Will you please have a talk with your sister? Mr. Peas or Pants? Mr. Pants of Peas? Ah, do. Tut. Loo. Tee. We got some Bob Kittas. I wonder if I'll be able to actually still see them by the time I get over there. I don't know. Excuse me, I got a cough. Sorry. Try not to cough. I don't have a cough button for the webcasts. No, don't have that. Yano. White tiger. Beautiful boy. Mr. Yano. Interesting things that are coming out about white tigers. Some interesting new insight, scientific evidence. that is being poured over and compiled by geneticists and genomicists. Coming to find out that the white tigers are not so unhealthy after all. A lot of organizations, a lot of zoologic organizations, you know, animal organizations, places like Humane Society, Association of Zoos and Aquariums, stuff like that, they definitely have strong messages that say that all white tigers that are captive in the United States are all genetically defunct. They have no conservation value, and they are all the only white tigers that are in existence are in existence as a result of you know, scrupulous and unethical entrepreneurial interests. Reading some interesting literature that is suggesting otherwise. A lot of people sit there and say, and I even said a lot of this stuff like in different tours, and I will admit different things. Hey, Maxie Waxy, what's up, bud? Are you? He is giving the stare down to Mr. Bowie. He is giving a stare down to Bowie Pants. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you tell him, Max. But just some interesting things, interesting articles. Hi. Oh my gosh! Powie, you're a mess! Powie, you're an absolute mess. That was a gurgle whisper moo. A whispery gurgle moo. That was adorable. That was great. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. But, no, just, Bobby. Bobby. Bye-bye, Bobby. But yeah, no. Reading some different things about just the nature of what makes a white tiger, and like how it's, you know, there's the recessive genes and how they're a natural color variant. And yes, the early white tigers here that were captive in the United States, they were the first round was made as a result of inbreeding, but what they fail to know or understand or acknowledge is that a lot of healthy orange tigers actually carry the recessive genetic traits for, I think it's called leucism. Hold on, I wrote this stuff down. Hold on. Leucism. Leucism. Which is, it's a naturally expressed color variant. And the narrative for a lot of these different organizations and other big cat sanctuary, rescue, safe haven type organizations such as CARE, a lot of those places, they have that narrative of saying like any white tiger that you see is just the result of just genetic, just mess. It's a hodgepodge. They're completely, every single one of them is unhealthy. Every single one of them is decrepit and unsound. Even the words like freak show, like two-headed calves are brought up. But again, the genetic variant for leucism can be easily carried and easily expressed in animals that don't actually have that white visible coloring. That's one of the reasons why, after the geneticists and the genomicists, because a lot of the narrative that I'm talking about, that a lot of these other places talk about, it's coming from scientific insight that hasn't been fully expressed until very recently. I mean, within just the last couple of years. So for a long time, there was a lot of data that just simply wasn't available. So people had to theorize, they had to hypothesize, they had to come up with a narrative to, you know, kind of explain why they want to go into certain directions and formulate certain policies, and why they want to educate the public in a certain way. But now it seems like we're finding out new data. And I've talked about things like Dr. Brian Davis from the Exotic Genome Repository, and how all of the cats here at the Center for Animal Research and Education have had their genetics, they've had their genes sampled. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. They've had their genes sampled, and then analyzed, and then compared to the other captive bred genes. And they've been finding out a lot of these different, a lot of these different types of insights that only our recent technology has given us and afforded us the opportunity to, because it's made it a cost, because before it was a cost prohibitive kind of thing. To fully sequence genomic sequences, it required just vast amounts of computational power, of a lot of time and energy and resources and technology that few people had access to. But as I've talked before, as computational power and computational technology gets faster and bigger and better and cheaper and more accessible, then you can do bigger and grander and more cool things for cheaper. So a lot of these scientists are now having like this real, just amazing access to the sequencing of a lot of these genetic components, and the things, after they've looked over a lot of the data, they are coming to some interesting conclusions about the genetic health and viability of white tigers. And that flies in the face of a lot of these organizations, your Association of Zoos and Aquariums, your Humane Society type places, who they will completely say that anyone who attempts to try to breed or preserve any sort of white gene is just, basically like akin to like a snake oil salesman, and they'll decry individuals who try to do such things. But now some of these scientists, like these actual scientists, like PhD type people, are saying like, no, the white tigers, there's healthy ones, there are very healthy ones out there, and we should probably try to preserve their genetic footprint. Because this is the other thing, is that the actual white variant was something that was, I guess, fairly commonly expressed out in the wild. It just, they were hunted out. They were poached and peed on. They were turned into yellow tigers. But it's one of those interesting things, and people, they look at white tigers and they think it's maybe like an albino thing, and albinos can definitely, animals and people that are struck with albinism, that can make for genetic malady, that can make for a certain genetic weakness. But white tigers, they don't have that same kind of thing. And because there's enough orange tigers, mucking out and about, that carry the recessive trait for leucism, they've been able to create a very healthy and sustainable, there are a lot of healthy populations of white tigers in captivity. Like most of the cats here. The only one that's questionable, really, is Solano. Yeah, and but everyone else is like, really, they're fit, they're tip top. You have to realize that's a component of like what Heidi used to do. Was she used to have a zoologic breeding program, used to make white tigers. This was a long time ago, back in the day. And then public attitudes shift, and landscapes shift, and the nature of conservation opinion shifts, and then you shift with the times. And then now we're starting to see shifting opinions that are kind of maybe potentially going back. These are interesting things to think about. These are interesting conversations, I think, that are now being brought back to light. But that kind of goes against a lot of the narrative of a lot of these zoologic organizations. It really, really does. And I've talked about that in previous webcasts, how there are conservation organizations, there are sanctuary organizations, there's zoologic organizations. They have a narrative and they have a thing and they have a message that they've been sticking to for a long, long time. And it's what gives them legitimacy. It's what gives them clout within the world of exotic animals. It gives them the ear of policymakers and legislatures within our governmental institutions. And if they have to now change their tune based on this new scientific evidence, that's a tough deal to think. That's a tough thing to reconcile with. I understand. I get that. I get that. But more and more information, and I'll post some links to some interesting articles regarding some of that stuff in the video description below. I can do that so that you can have an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. Kate. Hi, beautiful. Hi, beautiful. Oh. Hi, baby. Hi, sugar pie. Oh, grass. Grass around the compound. Hi. It's kind of a nice day out, isn't it? Isn't it? But like, for instance, like people who have type O blood, that's a recessive gene. That's a recessive gene that both parents have to carry in order to, you know, to have a kid with type O blood. And I was also reading about how you can have orange tigers. They have, they can either have like the full like orange gene is dominant, and they don't have the gene for leucism, but they can also have expressed dominance in the orange gene, and then they also have the leucism. So you could potentially have two orange tigers who both carry the leucistic gene, and there is a 25% probability that they would actually create white tigers within their litter. That's why it goes in the face, because people, they'll sit there and say like they're all a product of inbreeding. There's a lot of cats out there that just in general they're bred by people who certainly should not breed cats. And yes, I've seen the pictures. Like, have you seen the picture of that one? He's a Down syndrome tiger, and it's like, there's not really. This is have you seen the pictures of an adorable tiger? His name is Boomer. He's got boomitis. He's got snuffle syndrome. Oh, look at you, bud. Look at you. Bim. Bim, bim. Bim. And yes, I've seen the poster kitties. For some of these narratives. But there's a lot of cats that they're people out there like, I want to make crossbreeds of this and that and golden tabbies and things and whatnot and the most fantastical objects the world has ever seen. And yeah, you're going to get a couple of duds that come out of that process. It doesn't necessarily mean, and yeah, I've seen again the cats that have like the scrunched up nose and the cleft palates and but those are just because those people, they're trying to like make Frankenkitties. They're already trying to make Frankenkitties, but because they're trying to do that doesn't mean that white tigers are fundamentally flawed. Okay? People who say that all white tigers are fundamentally flawed based on the shady breeding practices of some individuals, it's not true. It's not true. At least not what we're finding out. At least not what we're finding out. It's really fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. And then, of course, they'll sit there and say, well, there's still no reason, because you're talking about 9 different subspecies, of tigers that are being represented, and they're all being intermixed and intermingled in captivity in the Americas. Yeah, okay, I hear you. But there was another interesting, I'm sorry, I'm getting my notes kind of close to the, oh, this is really great for my ASMR, Tingle-tastic, woo! But there's also some other articles that I was reading. Really interesting stuff. Some more fascinating conservation news. Mr. Flashman that was talking about, what was it? It was the, let me get some of my notes. Hold on. Hi, Serena. Hi, beautiful. Hold on. Let us just enjoy you for a second. Let's just enjoy you for a second. Let's just enjoy this pretty girl. She's more than just a pretty girl, Derek. She's got a personality. She's got dreams. She's smart. She's educated. Don't be a bigot. Tiger bigot. Sorry. Capture. Did you get her consent to take her picture? I don't know. This world that we're in now is so confusing. But, the Leibniz Institute for Zoo and Wildlife Research in Berlin. They are doing measurements of skulls, the fur patterns, ecology, and genetics, looking for the master race of tigers. I'm sorry. No, but it's this group of scientists over in Germany, the Leibniz Institute for Zoo and Wildlife Research. Yeah, they were measuring a bunch of different things like skull measurements, fur pattern, ecology, genetics of a bunch of the different subspecies of tigers. They actually went in and they oh my gosh, there's no cats. I'm going to places where there aren't any cats, and there's a kitty cat that's laying on her back, being very cute right over there, not even capturing it. Snuffle to you as well. That was her butt. But it's different. There's the 6 different subspecies that a lot of people know about. There's Siberian, Bengal, South China, Sumatran, Indo-Chinese, Malayan tigers. There's also the Javan and the Bali tigers, which are extinct. Thanks, people. Thanks, humans, making those extinct. But this research institute over in Germany, they were researching tigers that are alive, fur samples from tigers in museum exhibits, extinct tiger samples, and they had an interesting conclusion towards their research. The article that I read, it says that there's little evidence to reliably differentiate the 9 subspecies, and what they ended up coming up with was the idea that there are actually 2 distinct subspecies, the Sunda and the continental tigers. The Sunda, which is comprised of the Sumatran, which they're still alive, they're still around, and then the Javan and the Bali tigers, which are extinct, and then the continental tigers, which comprises everyone else. Now, don't get me wrong, there are genetic differences within the different subspecies that are currently being bandied about now, the 9 separate subspecies of tigers. But there are genetic differences in people that are ethnically diverse and racially different. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're from different species, of people. That's what these individuals are suggesting, which, if that's true, that's actually, there's something that's actually kind of promising about that. Because instead of 9 very specific different subspecies of tigers that we have to try and protect and conserve, if there's truly ecologically, genetically only 2, that makes conservation efforts a little bit easier. Oh, well, that's easier to manage. 2 is easier to manage than 9. That's arithmetic. It's interesting. And of course, Of course, that information is getting some people concerned and upset as well, because then it goes and flies into the face that, you know, you have certain organizations here in captivity, and there's other captive organizations like all over the place. They specifically dictate and they say who gets to breed big cats for conservation purposes and who doesn't. Like, you know, certain zoologic organizations are the only ones that get that special little stamp, that seal of approval to do such things. And then other places, you know, they're branded as just like, you're not doing it for conservation, you're just doing it for profit. But we have to wonder, is there, you know, is there actual conservation value? Is there? Is there? There's so many cats that still need to be yeah, there's cats out there that still need to be rescued. The number of cats that need to be rescued, I mean, the people that I've heard numbers that they say there's literally 20,000 tigers living in people's backyards. Where are you getting this information from? Like, where is this coming from? Whose estimates are these? I'd really like to know. I mean, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that number. I have a real hard time. Yeah, there's some people out there, they're doing some breeding and they're doing some stuff that they definitely should not be doing, and it's not helping out. Like, look, golden tabbies, that's a subset of big cat. Ligers, those things don't exist in the wild. Look, I get that. But when you're talking about the new insights that have come from geneticists and genomicists, maybe we can loosen the strictures on what is appropriate conservation breeding outside of AZA accredited species survival plan type things. It's, again, interesting conversations. That is poop. That is poop. That is still poop. It's still poop. Yeah, of course it stinks. It stinks. Yeah, I know. Science! He gave a hypothesis. He tested the hypothesis. He wrote down his conclusions. Oh, Ra. You're a mess. You're a mess, Ra. But yeah, just the different stuff that I was reading. And yeah, it's just, there's a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions, and they have ideological aims and they have ideological motivations. But they're the ones, those are the voices that are really being heard within like the whole big cat world, the world of exotics, the world of zoologic and conservation. And I think that more voices that are presenting other sides and other parts of the equation, I think other voices need to be heard as well. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, this webcast is constructed in the way that it is right now. Very adorably. Just food for thought. Food for thought. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Zoobs. You're killing me, bud. You're killing me. Yeah. There's some different things, different laws that are being proposed right now that may severely curtail and restrict who is allowed and who isn't allowed to engage in certain breeding practices. And I know that the purpose of like these different laws are to try to protect cats, and they're trying to keep cats from like getting into bad hands, and that's good. And I believe that that stuff is right and that's appropriate. But there could be a throwing the baby out with the bathwater type element to this whole equation as well. And they want to sit there and say anyone who like tries to bring up the conservation angle, they'll, again, they want to say that no, they're not, oh, what the, whoa, boom. they'll say that people who bring up the conservation angle, like, no, they're actually more motivated by, but no, I don't think that they are. There's some people, yes, that they are, but you have to be able to disambiguate. You have to differentiate. There's still more cats. Again, 10 or 20,000. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Now, if you enact laws that severely restrict who is allowed and who is not allowed, and then poof, we come to find out, like, oh, sorry, there really aren't 20,000 cats. There really aren't 20,000 cats that need rescuing. Huh, it was a good, sorry. We didn't really goof. It's kind of like they were just weapons of mass destruction, you know? We had some bad intel. Well, it's like, oh, that's great. Now this genetic diversity, this priceless genetic catalog that we have, maybe just, you know, maybe going poof. Maybe going poof. So yeah. Not all these issues are just simple black and white. Oh, like a white tiger stripes. There's issues of black and white. See what I'm saying? Oh, that's how we tie it in, and that's how we end the webcast. Yeah. That's how we end it. Selena's being crazy. All right, folks. I've babbled on long enough. Thank you so much for subscribing to the content. Thank you very much for being fans. As always, engage in the comments section. I'll do the familiar face shout out on the next webcast. Hopefully, remind me. And yeah, Mr. Man, black leopard, carrying of recessive traits that allow for you to have black coating. Yeah, you're scientific, all right. All right, folks. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.